Stream Elements said the busy builder is now live, streaming miniatures.
Hello! Since I don't have to wait on anything for this, I've got everything I need. We're going to work on the Takom M60. The half track, it's still got some stuff I need to order. I could work it out in the meantime, I'd rather have all my ducks in a row on that one. Same with the AAV. So, we're going to start on this bad boy. As usual, we'll be working out of order, because I really don't like trying to assemble upper and lower hulls with too many details attached. So we're going to worry about what goes inside, like the driver's hatch mechanism, anything here. Get those all glued up, or drilled out, and then go from there.
At the model student 20 said, "Hey mate, eyes emoji, looking forward to seeing this baby."
Oh yeah. It was either that or the grand scale stylet. I just felt like something a bit more involved today. That, and I'm having a really rough start today. I stayed up too late, slept in too long. You know how it goes. But this one's pretty straightforward. I got in the Tamiya military miniature set for it. And this is the perfect set for this vehicle. You get some extra crew figures. So one for the loader's hatch, one for the driver's hatch, one for the commander's. But most importantly, for what I want to do, you get the Hoffman device that you attach to the barrel. That's your gunfire simulator for exercises. And you get some extra stowage, things like that. Comes with some bench vices. I need to put one of those in the AAV. So there's a lot of stuff.
Said, "Hello, busy. Might find a day today."
Well, same here. It's gray and dreary and rainy today, so. But yeah, we're going to work on the Takom M60 and probably go straight through on this one. Because as I was saying, I don't need to wait on anything. I even think I have a wooden base large enough to give any groundwork we do context. So how's everybody doing? I'm off today and tomorrow, so we'll have a stream tomorrow too. I don't want to rush it, but I'd like to get basic construction on this done between today and tomorrow. This came kind of pre-trimmed out of the box. I just want to make sure they didn't leave any massive chunks on it.
At the model student 20 said, "I've been in a bit of a slump mode target was that again? Moist the box.
I found this one for like 15 bucks on eBay. But it's right there in that late 70s, early 80s, switching over to the Fritz helmet.
At the model student 20 said missed lol.
But it's got stuff for the M60 and the M1. So just a lot of good stuff in it. If you're looking for something in like the early mid-80s.
2A7DK said shortest day of the year. Turned 56 today. So to bed again soon. Face with hand over mouth emoji. Smiling face with smiling eyes emoji. At the model student 20 said okay cool.
You're right, it is the shortest day of the year. But don't go to bed too soon. I get you. I wanted to start earlier, but the engine just ain't turning over today, you know?
At the model student 20 said happy big B day.
Happy birthday. So, gonna start by drilling some holes. So I know I'll be on today and tomorrow. I don't know about Christmas Day. We'll have to see how that goes. We don't have anything planned, but it just depends on how I'm feeling that day, if I want to be on or not, you know? Usually I have a Christmas Day stream. But that accessories kit is almost perfect if you're doing...
Leo 2A7DK said thank you model student.
It's almost perfect if you're doing a European exercise reforger style M60 or Abrams. Especially the M1 Abrams, not the M1A1, but the 105.
The model student 20 said thumbs up emoji.
Because it will allow you... They didn't have a lot of stuff. They didn't load them down with too much crap for those exercises. Okay, got those holes drilled. Checking ahead to make sure I don't have any more or anything that needs to go on the inside of the tank. I think most of the inside stuff is just the driver's hatch. And everything else is external. Yep. Okay. Did you do anything good for your birthday, or?
7629 said hey student.
Hey George, how you doing? Or hello Georgie. That hole drilled. I want to have the hatch open.
At George Davis 7629 said hey builder.
So everybody always thinks, you know, you see a hatch like this and like the Abrams it swings to the side. No, this actually pops up and slides over. So it wouldn't have the sight installed. So yeah, we're gonna have this modeled open. Where are our driver's hatch parts? That's the earlier gun tube without the shroud. And people were wondering, you know, why did they mold the gun tube in halves for this one? And I'll show you in a second. Because one of the reviews, somebody complained about that, but there's actually a reason. for the driver's hatch parts. Yeah, they're all on one sprue.
At the model student 20 said, hey George, open hatches are a must. Lol must eat something today. Back I'm a gif.
Sneezing hurts. All right. So found the hatch parts. But I also want to touch real quick on the gun tube once I get the hatch parts open.
At the model student 20 said, I'll wait for the reason first.
You're going to be waiting a minute.
The model student 20 said, bless you.
Thank you. So on this barrel, which is for the A1 and earlier M60s, smooth barrel, nothing on it. The what do they call that? Bore evacuator is just molded separate. But I just lost the piece over there. On later ones, there's a thermal shroud on the barrel to help with any kind of deviation from the barrel heating up, cooling down, anything like that. So because of that, you have these clamps molded on, and details like that, which if you try to do it in a slide mold would be very difficult to do due to mold draw. The part would get stuck in the mold because it would hang up. So due to that, they molded the shrouded barrel, or the sleeve barrel, in two halves. All it needs is a little quick cleanup, nothing major. But yes, there are people out there that complain because of that. But I'll spend the kit's price and money in an aluminum barrel. Oh, did I say that out loud? Okay, so I need this part.
At the model student 20 said, I would have not known that. Cool. Also, extra jerry cans, yay.
Oh, there's always extra jerry cans. G17. There it is.
At George Davis 7629 said most pit barrels are okay now.
They really are, and you've got to really be some kind of stick in the mud, crotchety, elitist thing to really complain about most modern kits now.
At Leo2A7DK said, putty, sandpaper, and a little patience will get you far.
Oh, not even that. Just a little bit of patience lining the barrel up, gluing it properly, and making sure there's no seam.
At George Davis 7629 said, got a metal one for the leopard, was more fast than it was worth as the paint showed the extra detail when it didn't chip off.
Now you're getting it. Now you're getting it. G16. And I might even skip ahead in the instructions, see what I got to do to build that barrel so I can just get it out of the way. I know 5 parts for the hatch. it would be cool to put the sight and everything in it. But as far as I remember, I think it gets removed when it's open. Because if not, this doesn't flip up like that and slide. It only flips up a little bit and slides. So if I put this this sight in it, it would catch on the hull.
If Duck were here, he would disagree, but that 135th Leopard 2A7 is one really big kit.
The only gripe I have with Tamiya, and Duck can have his opinions, he's welcome to them, but the only gripe I have with Tamiya is too many other people tout them as perfect when they are not. They are just, they're rather mediocre. They're boring, right? That's the only thing I've got wrong with them. They don't really interest me. They're kind of eh. They make good detail sets, but as far as their kits, sometimes too simple can be a bad thing. I've actually had Tamiya kits bore me so much that I've tossed them and gotten the competitor's kit just for a little bit more actual involvement building them. And that's the real thing. Does the model engage you as the builder?
7629 said was very disappointed with the telephone box. Should have scratch built a better one, really.
What, on the Leopard 2A7? Or on the M60? Because you got to remember, the Tamiya M60 is older than me or Duck. It's probably even older than Alex. Honestly, I'm a bit burnt out on Leopard stuff anyway.
Davis 7629 said, yeah, the 2A7 has a telephone box on the back for the infantry to use.
I think the A6 had one as well. It was just hidden.
George Davis 7629 said, think they can also link them between tanks.
It was hidden behind one of those panels by the exhaust. Right by the convoy shield. The convoy light shield. Okay, be very careful here. There. I've always found Tamiya, I found modern Tamiya to be just rather uneventful, you know? Very vanilla, very plain Jane. Just busting off all those ejector pin tabs. Does it mean the kits are bad? No, they're just not very exciting to me. Alright, so up, over, down. Yeah. Man, I keep working so far up. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. If I need to open it later, I can always do it through the turret hole. Let's not mess this up. 6. There we go. Clear part sprue. Now, I can't lose this little baggie that contains the pins to hold the track together. And I've also got a good name for our tank. It's in the kit. Don't ask me why it's got U.S. Air Force markings, but okay. Blade Runner. Come on, focus. Exposure's a bit high too. Give me a sec. Knock the gain down. Right there. And copper wire for the tow cables. And once we get a bit further on this, would you guys like to see the other vehicle I've got to go with the AAV and why I'm finding it a little difficult to kind of decide?
At the model student 20 said Blade Runner, my friend gave me a balsa stripper yesterday. I was stripping all night. Lol.
Oh, for your little hanger thing, yeah. And don't get me started on last night. I was up till 1 in the morning, which is honestly not very normal for me. And because of that, I didn't even get... I was up at like 8:45, 9. But I did not get out of bed until 10.
Student 20 said, yep, always interested.
Can you guess what vehicle it might be? Which side is up on these?
Zoom8921 just followed.
Thank you for the follow, Zoom. How you doing? Welcome to the channel.
Welcome to the channel, Zoom8921.
Use too much push force.
7BK said, tell us.
Well, you'll have to wait. I'll show it this stream. But what do you think it is? I found the kit for 22 bucks. Because for what I needed, there's another company that does the same vehicle with an engine.
2:30 for me, but didn't get up until 10. What could it be?
So, but the other kit with what I needed, I didn't feel like paying almost $100 for. There's your first hint. I'll let it brew for a minute. And as far as I know, these are the only 2 kits of this vehicle on the market that come off the shelf with an engine set. And it's not an M113. God, I can't even remember the last time the Marines even looked at the M113. They always had their Amtraks. Drop. And everybody remember that if it wasn't for donations like the one that Alex made, we wouldn't be building this M60 right now. His donation allowed me to be able to get the kit and the detail kit to go with it. So thank you again, Alex. Much appreciated.
At the model student 20 said, can't be a Humvee grinning face with sweat emoji.
No, it's not. Okay, anything else inside that has to be glued on before I glue the hull halves together? And you can see why, like, they have you gluing all the headlights on and other little details, the axles.
At the model student 20 said, go Alex the goat.
I don't want to risk breaking any of that putting this onto here, because it is a tight fit. But we got the hatch installed, we got the optics installed. It looks like those are the only lower hull internal items. So we're going to get these two halves glued together. Let me find the barn doors.
At Leo 2A7BK said, very welcome. Like the M48 M60 family.
And I'd been thinking of doing a good Reforger style M60 build for a very long time. I did it once in 72nd scale, but it still didn't hit the mark. I think I still have that. I used the old Revell kit. I think I still have it on a shelf somewhere. Take these off. Be very careful when handling this part. That handle's molded on.
At the model student 20 asks, yeah, that would be easy to break off. Who is our saucy lady today?
That is a cyberpunk-inspired character. The files are made by Dinamu. You can get it off of CG Trader or My Mini Factory. And she comes with a few different options you could print her out in. I did some of the more publicly displayable ones. And notice the logo on her shirt is for a certain corporation. If you know your sci-fi, you know that logo. Okay. So you know what? I'm probably going to have to wait to glue these on because I have to get some other things to locate it. I just want to make sure they can go on after. Fit on this is very good and snug. This is just dry fitting it. Hearing thumps above me. But yeah, we are in store for a very British winter this year, especially Christmas. We're not expecting any snow the next couple weeks, just rain. It would be a true Christmas miracle if it were to snow between now and December 24th.
At Leo 2A7BK said, nice breakup of the party.
Yes, it is. That's why that's another reason I chose this one over the AFV Club. The AFV Club kit was good, but it didn't have enough. And I knew the shortcomings of the M9 Dozer kit from Academy. So that was really the deal sealer on this one, was this one's dozer was represented properly, as it had all the hydraulic fittings and all the lines and things like that. The AFV Club one, I'd have to buy the Academy Dozer kit for it, and that doesn't have what I need. It's very inadequate. And all I needed for mine, after the fact, was that Tamiya kit for the Hoffman devices. And the Tamiya accessory kit doesn't even show that it comes with crew figures. Period correct crew figures. So I'm like, hey, bonus, win. Hooray for me. Saves me from having to buy the DML crew figure set that came with their M1A2 kit back in the very early 90s. I did go through early, and there's two little, very lightly made nubs here to take off.
This kit, it's pretty detailing. We're getting a bit of the white stuff today and tomorrow. Snow, I mean.
Oh, I thought you meant nose candy. Come on, man. Take off. You can't be teasing me like that, eh? But the one thing that really impressed me when I opened this, because I think even Academy or AFV Club still screwed it up. No fuel filler cap. I can't remember who did the first one without it, but every M60, M48 kit always had a fuel filler cap here. And there's only a certain few that were supposed to. And everybody kept messing it up because they kept using the same plans and referring to the same kits and same things, perpetuating the issue. And the original Tamiya one, and by extension the Academy ones for the longest time, were based off of a vehicle that was empty, no engine. So it sat higher than it should have. I think the first one to get that right was Italeri, when they did their M60 Blazer kit back in the 90s, and then subsequently released regular M60s. Okay, that's together. Yeah, these should dry fit, so I don't have to worry about... Yep. Okay, I'm just going to glue them on, and it'll make it easier to locate the hinge pieces too. This kit's got a really good cast texture. It's about what you want for the scale. And you want it to be subtle, not overly lumpy and chunky like other people like to do theirs. And this one definitely fits that mark on this vehicle. Takom did their homework on this one, that's for sure.
At the model student 20 said bits of info I would never otherwise know. Awesome.
Well, it doesn't make those older kits unbuildable.
Said nice when manufacturers actually wake up and not just copycat.
Yeah, none of those make those other kits unbuildable or anything like that. It just shows their age, the access of information before the internet. Especially in like the late 60s, early 70s, when Monogram and Tamiya were all doing their series of kits. They may not have had access to the full information they needed, you know? because it was still a frontline vehicle. The Abrams was just a twinkle. The MBT-70 program is what was going on, and that hadn't really amounted to anything at the time, so it's understandable. Alright, now we got that together. Let that dry for a sec. We're going to do the same thing on the turret. Go through, do anything we need to do internally, and get the turret halves glued together. There's that plumbing I was telling you about that goes under the hull. Hydraulic box at the front of the vehicle. And it even has you cut the fenders. Yeah, this one here for the left side fender. It's got the hydraulic box, the overflow, the pump, the hydraulic tank, and all the hosing there. So this literally comes with everything. Alright, where's my turret half, Tom? Besides the drilling, is there anything that needs to go inside? Oh no! Excellent. Yeah, I just have to drill out some holes, and we can put these upper and lower halves together. Yeah, I am definitely not going to try and glue them together with that crap all over it, because I don't want to snap that railing off or the smoke dischargers, so yeah. I know I have a peculiar way of doing this, but I hope it makes sense as well. So this does have the other option if you wanted to do one Marine Corps. It's got...
Student 20 said, I saw a fella covering a new die-cast 1/6 forge coming out with working gauges and cylinders. They were surmising we would begin to see more of this in kit form.
Honestly, when it comes to cars, you want it for the whole car. I mean, unless you're doing a model with the engine being rebuilt, what's the point? Even though that does pose the question, could I take a kit and modify the engine to have the cylinder holes and the water passages and all that? Anyway, so it comes with an extra barn door with the exhaust attachment for deep water fording. Obviously, we don't need that for this one. Okay.
Leo 2A7BK said, I also have a hard time keeping to the instructions. If they don't make sense, or I know I will knock something off.
That's the main thing, Alex, is I'm trying to avoid constantly breaking things off. Because if I glued everything on as the instructions said and went to bond these two together, one, you're knocking shit off. And two, there might be something in the way of this seam. What if we have to address this seam in terms of, like, blending it, things like that? Can't do it. Or can't do it as easily. And that's part of that basic skill set that a lot of videos lose.
This will be a fair size when completed. Nice addition to your collection for sure.
It's roughly the same overall size as the Centauro, maybe a bit wider. And that's the undergating I was talking about. So those tabs you saw on your Vodnik, how they kind of look like that, is because they put the plastic feed channel on this part of the part, so it doesn't mar the finish here. And that's why they were sticking down. They just cut them more flush than I did. And And in the model world, that's known as undergating. I'm just glad this looks like it'll be a fairly straightforward build for me. I've been looking at all the projects we've been working on, and I'm like, I keep having to stop and order shit. Like, I'll need to... I'm waiting until Christmas passes, because I gotta get through all that. But I want to order a tree or set of trees for the half-track diorama. Came up with a name for the scene. Smoke Breaks Over, because you got the guy with the smoke in his hand pointing, and the other guy with the STG, he's also got one in his hand looking that way. Another guy with a map, all kind of looking the same direction. Kind of like he's telling them, that's where I need you to go next. And then you'll have the other guys under the tree having theirs. So then it just dawned on me, hey, smoke breaks over. But I want to have the tree, maybe do like an early morning frosty scene late in the war. So I was thinking of buying that, I think it's Vallejo or Woodland Scenics has that salt mix that you spray on the grass and it frosts up. So I wanted to get a good static grass applicator and try that for once and do like hoarfrost on the grass, kind of like we get here when it's rainy and foggy. But it gets just cold enough to start freezing shit on the grass. So yeah, I'm waiting on a couple of things to order still to do any more on the half-track and plan that scene out while I build it. And I also wanted to try getting some fall leaves so I could put them on the ground. And on the half-track itself. I'm just wanting to try some newer things is all. And then figure out how I can reverse engineer it. So, like right here, we got a little bit of an overhang. Trying to get that massaged a bit better. And this is what I talk about when I say just take your time aligning your parts. Sometimes a little bit of massaging goes a long way. Yeah, not so much. Probably hit that up with an X-Acto blade, then come back with some Mr. Surfacer. Blend it, get that kind of very subtle texture going. God, I would hate to have to deal with this with the turret stowage basket installed. Holy crap. So yeah, those two are together. It looks weird without the skirts on it. Every M60 I've ever built has always had the fenders on the upper hull.
At Leo2A7DK said that's what she said.
A really good snug fit there. But while this dries for a minute, let me go get the Mystery Mobile. Because I've got two ideas. One, take the engine pieces from the kit and just have the AAV lifting the engine, or like it's on a pallet and it's hooked up ready to lift it, you know? And then save the kit for another project. Because I got an idea I'd like to do with that tank. Or have the tank opened up with the engine getting pulled out of it. That's more... It's bigger, a lot more involved. I can't find the ground crew. I could get into figure modifying if I wanted to. I don't really feel like it. Um, and it would make for a huge display, which I really don't have a lot of space for in terms of that, not until I sell a couple things. So I could do 2 vehicles with separate display bases, medium-sized, or 1 big base with 2 vehicles on it. So but once you see the other vehicle, you'll see what I mean. Be right back.
At the model student 20 said make for a cool scene either way.
Yeah, it would make for a cool scene, but without the ground crew figures removing the engine, it would feel very empty and it takes up a lot of space. Right? But however, the Italeri Abrams isn't a terrible kit. It's loosely based on the same plans that Trumpeter had, so it's similar to their kit. Others will argue that fact. It works for me. How's that? It may not be the Dragon M1A1 AIM kit, but I got it for 22 bucks. I'm not going to complain. But this is the main reason I wanted it. It comes with the engine. I know the Ryfield one does as well, and it's probably more thoroughly detailed. However, I could just build this, put it on a transport pallet, and have it getting prepped to be picked up. Right? Because it's the whole engine pack. You've got the engine, transmission, final drives, all that stuff together. So that still gives purpose for the AAV and the large crane without making a gigantic, overcluttered scene. At least in my mind. And then with the Abrams, I can get the parts I need to make it a Marine Abrams, or I can make it Army, either way, and do something smaller scale, more interesting with that, because at one point, Italeri re-released this kit with the Master Box tank crew in one set. I found that tank crew. Even comes with a small driver's compartment. Most of the turret interior, enough to make it interesting to look at through the hatches if you don't have somebody in them. But we still run into the, well, I kind of need the rest of the crew problem. So you've got your intake filters, all that stuff. Yeah, these are glue on here somehow once you remove the...
The model student 20 said 2 smaller scenes seems reasonable solution.
That's what I was thinking. I just need to see how the Army and Marines store the engines when they're in their maintenance mode. That way, if I need to put it...
A7BK said nowhere near simple. It would look nice preparing for an engine swap.
I'd need 2 engines for that. That's what I was thinking. I could just have it picking up the engine with the engine being fully detailed. Right? Outside the vehicle. Because I already know the kit's engine bay is not detailed. It's just a plastic tub. And I'd have to do a lot of scratch building. And if I was going that far, I would have bought the Ryfield kit. Because it has all that. But yeah, I'll think on that a little more while we're doing this. But right now I'm leaning towards 2 separate displays. That way I can show off both vehicles independently. And if I feel like doing something different, I can. Get you back in the bag. Come on. Come on. Darn it. Just give me a sec. I'm very fumbly today. that's where my brain's going. But also, as I said, it's got the back wall of the turret interior. There's some things we can do with it.
At Leo2A7BK said what I meant. Just the engine ready for a new home.
I figured that's what you meant. Plus, that allows me to give the vehicle context and purpose within its own scene without having to add too much more to draw away from it. Because that's the other problem you can run into in a scene like that with multiple vehicles, is you can easily overpower your main idea. Okay, so we're going to go back to step 1. And start from there. We've got... Nope. Shit. Alright, we are going to actually undo something, because I forgot to drill the damned holes.
I can't find one with the engine parts, let alone one that cheap. Congrats.
Hey, I went digging, and I think that was actually bought with the last of the donation money, too. So, I know I just ripped that turret in half, but that's because I forgot to drill the holes. Because I'm an idiot. And I got too busy talking about other things.
At the model student 20 said grinning face with sweat emoji few. At the model student 20 said we're bad distractors.
Yes, yes you are.
At
But that's okay.
7BK said upside down face emoji.
I don't blame you guys.
Emoji face with hand over mouth emoji face with hand over mouth emoji.
I'm not gonna lie, it's been a week. Nothing bad's happened, but it's been a week, you know? And apparently Takom do a really good M60A1 Rise, so the Marine one with the spaced armor. But I've already got that in 16th scale in RC, so I don't really need a 35th scale one. But yes, you're all terrible distractors. Stop it. Hey, at least I didn't realize it later.
20 said I can justify not working on my gas right now as I am watching you.
Nope, if you got time to watch me, you got time to build a model. Sorry, bad excuse, can't use it. I will not be anyone's scapegoat.
At F1B10 the best said hi there.
How's it going? We're probably going to scrape this down and apply a little Mr. Surfacer to it just to make sure it's all hunky-dory, blendy. 'Cause I'm getting the gooey squeezing out of it now, which is good. I want the gooey squeeze. Tape. Especially right there.
At the model student 20 said I'm eating while stuff dries.
Nope, you gotta keep going.
F1B10 the best said my resin 3D printer just died.
Well, don't know what to do for you there. I'm kind of not in printing mode right now.
At the model, student 20 said, "Oh no, that suits."
Screen get cracked? I know this looks pretty ugly, but that's actually what I want, is that
At F1
squeezed out
the
stuff.
best said, "Yeah, screen is dead."
All you can do is replace it. But the way the printers are going these days, I could buy a new Elegoo Saturn II 8K for the same price as a screen right now. So 50-50 either way.
F1D10 the best said, "So I ordered the newer model printer."
Something to drink here. But I take care of my blade, or not my blade, my screen, and we're going on, yeah, almost 3 years now. November 22. Yeah, 3 years. Three years and no problems. Knock on wood. All right. Now that we got the holes drilled and avoided a disaster, back to step one. Actually, I wanted to check my references really quick on something.
At F1D10 the best said, "Mr. Surfacer is such awesome primer. I got a whole bunch from my local hobby store."
I order it when I need to off Amazon. Just to do something weird that could potentially irritate all the perfectionists out there. I'm looking to see if I can find an example of a non-thermal sleeve barrel, just so I could use that. All the ones I'm seeing so far. Oop. Oh. Found one. Do I dare ruffle the perfectionist feathers that is the Cold War model building community by using an unshrouded, unsleeved barrel on my tank? Nah, I'm just gonna put the barrel together. I chose my bed, I'm going to lie in it. There we go.
At F1D10 the best said, "Oh, the horror grinning face emoji, grinning face emoji."
You have no idea the horror.
At the model student 20 said, yes, I like Mr. Surfacer, it's good. Mr. Hobby Stuff in general is great. We're having a bad time getting it here in CA.
Yep, I find Duplicolor Automotive Primer also works well in that regard. Goes on very thin, sprays very well. If you absolutely need a spray-on primer. And for those of you wondering...
Model student 20 said sacrilege.
Sacrilege what? I'm not the one living in a nanny state. Getting close, though.
The model student 20 said rolling on the floor laughing emoji bad speller.
Okay, why do we have a slight gap there? Did I miss something?
At Leo 2A7BK said our Danish Leopard 1A5s also have the thermal shroud, but they didn't arrive with it. Nice touch going against the normal.
No, I couldn't find an example of an A3 without the shroud, so I've got to use it. If I was doing an A1, I could. But if I was doing that, I'd also want the searchlight and some other odds and ends.
At the model student 20 said, at least you haven't got maids yet.
Working towards that. Or is that Canadian slang for something else? Right now we're just trying to get that good glue squeeze to come through, because that gives us a good bond, and 9 times out of 10 will fill the seam.
The model student 20 said, no, you got it right.
Yeah, if we had maids, I'd be like, I'd be dressing like Emperor Palpatine every day. Now you must call me master. A little bit of flash on the end there. Okay, there's the muzzle end. We are way, way, way out of order here, but I don't give a fuck.
At F1V10 the best, said unlimited power, grinning face emoji, grinning face emoji, grinning face emoji.
No, there's no seam in the real
Model
barrel.
Student 20 said no seam in the actual barrel, I'm assuming. Grinning face with sweat emoji. At the model Student 20 said unlimited. Rolling on the floor, laughing emoji, rolling on the floor, laughing emoji, rolling on the floor, laughing emoji.
So that's together. Let's go back to here. I need the G sprues and the A sprues. There's G.
At the model Student 20 said sorry for the emojis.
It's okay. W. Is it supposed to be V or A? I'm going to say A. Takom is really running heavy on the Games Workshop style sprues lately, though.
At Leo2A7BK said Carrie Fisher, rip, at your feet in that skimpy outfit. I can't, I don't know, I mean, the hell.
Are you saying you want me to print and paint a Slave Leia next? Is that what you're saying? There's a few of them out there. Do you want one that's more character correct or perversion correct is the real question. Getting lost on which sprue I've got in my hand. Isn't that like one of the first signs of Alzheimer's? Just stand that up there. I know what I need to get. One of those music holders for a piano. Who has deigned to disturb me? Oh, hi, Allie. No, no. Hold on. Let me clear the box out so you can get in there.
At the model student 20 said Princess Leia.
What did I just miss? Thank you for the bits.
Imracim88 said cheer. Stream Elements said Flight Imracim88 just cheered 1050 bits pop jam. At Leo2A7BK said my mind is not perverted in any way. But I still struggle with lying a bit.
Well, I mean, she did run around in the first film with no bra. Thank you for the bits, Flight Sim. I'm trying to decide on a few figures I printed out, but I've kind of lost steam for if I want to finish them or just get rid of them before I go printing anymore. I haven't really printed much lately in terms of, like, big stuffs. Slowly working on the Town R, but haven't really done a lot more on that. I'm having more fun just straight up building these right now. Yeah, this is the first time I can recall seeing the hull this well realized. Even the old Italeri kit, I don't recall it having this much on the underside in terms of detail.
At the model student 20 said I have to print another skate for my Alita. She fell over and broke one. Now she rests in a drawer lol.
I am still waiting for someone to do a good kit of Naomi Armitage from Armitage the Third. Or either an old school style resin kit or files.
Model student 20 said Armitage was good one that's old.
Yeah? Yes, I am.
At the model student 20 said classic anime.
I prefer the original OVA dub over the film. Mainly because Kiefer Sutherland's acting is just way too wooden. He's not a good voice actor. When they did the film condensed version.
At the model student 20 said I'm even older if y'all can believe it, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Oh, I know, you're older than me. But we're both, you know, child-brained idiots, so it evens out.
At the model student 20 said he's not a good actor.
He really isn't. The only reason he had any success is because his father's name. I think the only film I saw him in where I really kind of felt that he was the character was Dark City. I have to wonder if Takom has made plans to do...
At the model student 20 said no he isn't and definitely isn't his father, grinning face with sweat emoji.
the updated version of this where they had an M1 turret on it. Yeah, that's why I wondered why they had him in Metal Gear Solid 5. It's like, I get it, you're trying to tell this isn't Solid Snake, so that's why you don't have David Hayter. But at the same time, something wasn't right. But that was also around the time when Kojima was getting kicked out of Konami, so they really truncated his budget. What's sad is I was actually looking forward to see how weird a Kojima-made Silent Hill game directed by Guillermo del Toro was going to be.
The model student 20 said Wilding with Wild.
Well, I think some of the ideas... Sorry, my nose itches. Because if you played through the PT demo that was on the PS4 for a while, it turned out that was the demo for Silent Hills with Norman Reedus, made by... It's a Kojima production, directed by Del Toro. That's right as all that shit with Kojima getting kicked out of Konami happened. So what does Kojima's first game entail? A story dealing with the undead, starring Norman Reedus, and having Del Toro in it. If you haven't played Death Stranding, that's what I'm talking about, and Del Toro plays a character in it. But then again, so does Conan O'Brien, so take your pick. Wow, it's been an hour and 20 minutes and I don't feel like I've really gotten anything done. This one's gonna be a build. But that's good. I want it to be straightforward but involving. I feel like some of the other stuff I've been working on has been a bit too simple. G29.
At the model student 20 said Jodorowsky's doing. Grinning face with sweat emoji. Thank goodness we didn't get that one.
Actually, I almost want to see that one done. Even if it's just animated. I don't want to say use AI to do it, because that's not right. But if you could find somebody that could do animation, like legit animation, find some good voice actors to play the actors as the characters as they would have been back in the 70s, that would have been interesting.
At the model student 20 said now maybe back then.
Because all the new one was, it was basically all the key moments that we know from the Sci-Fi Channel version and the original 84 version, right? So it's those moments condensed. The new one really gave us nothing new, and as far as telling the story. Oh wait, no, it made Chani run away at the end of the second film. Instead of being a strong woman and standing by her husband, she ran away. Because, you know, people just totally did not get the end of the story and felt they had to make it for a modern age. But I mean, I've read the core books written by Herbert without Foster and without his son. So the original books. I kind of saw what Jodorowsky was going for in his version. I've seen all the different versions of the 84 one.
Films, they are wackadoodle. I like the 84 version. Okay, the new one is okay if that's so good.
The perfect adaptation would have honestly been the Sci-Fi Channel version with the 84 version style. I still feel like the new one left too much out. It's hard to describe how or why, but it felt off. Like it hit the points, but it missed the points at the same time. I can't describe it any better than that. And I'm sorry, when you're doing a film like that as well, don't cast well-known actors in key roles. Because you don't see them as the character they're playing. You see them as the actor. Like, I didn't see Duncan Idaho. I saw Jason Momoa. And while he did have the kind of carefree, cavalier attitude down, all I saw was Aquaman. You know, I didn't see Duncan Idaho. I saw Jason Momoa. know, I didn't see Oscar Isaac. I saw Poe Dameron. You know, it's picky, I know, but when I go to see a film, that's kind of what happens when I go see a film. G23 A31. It's getting kind of tiring seeing the same, you know, 6 actors getting recycled over and over again. 22.
At the model student 20 said it's a cautionary tale. I like how the new Paul exudes a trace of imperiousness, which obviously later gets out of control.
It does, and I will give them kudos for actually casting somebody that looks like the character is supposed to be. Because even in the book, he's supposed to be a kid, you know?
At the model student 20 said to many wrestlers.
Yeah, there was that, because you had Momoa, you had... what's his name? Played Drax as the Beast Raban. He was also in Blade Runner.
Rio 2A7BK said you kind of hit the tip of the nail. I never could point out myself. Too overcast. At the model student 20 said he does look like what you think he should look like.
Yeah, so that works in that favor, and... But, I'm sorry, casting... What's her name from the Spider-Man films with Tom Holland? Bad decision. Mainly because she didn't really come across as the kind of person who could fill the role's shoes. Like, I honestly bought Sean Young's performance back in '84 more than I bought her little pout face performance. I hope I didn't get these backwards. I don't really think it matters. And I also accept that, who was it? Did the '84 one? Lynch, David Lynch. He did go a little far in his embellishment of certain things. Like, I get that he couldn't really, especially in '84, he couldn't really overdo the homoerotic nature of the, what's the bad guys? The Harkonnens? It was there in the books, but at the same time it wasn't there.
Rio 2A7BK said Hollywood has become too near and dear to box office, instead of chancing from time to
But
time.
at the same time, I understand he felt he had to do something to make the Harkonnens, especially the Baron, more despicable without getting into things that were considered too controversial at the time. I think the Sci-Fi Channel version handled it best in how they did it. They towed the line without totally crossing over
At
it.
Pirate 1980 said afternoon from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, Pirate, how's it
Glad
going?
It's been a while.
Yeah, we're still here, though. Working on the Takom M60. Just trying to do this without too much flipping back and forth, but I'm getting things mixed up, so I'm saving myself the hassle. How you doing? I figure if I do a stream on Christmas Day, maybe that's what I'll save Stylet for. Something really quick and simple. Because I kind of, after I made my Humvee deposit, I kind of splurged and spoiled myself a little bit and got another grand scale frame arms. Okay, so this one is D. I need to see where D goes. Okay, D goes up there on this one. Nope, I'm wrong. Allie, what are you doing? But to me, it's time to put away things like Dune and start looking into other stories. One that I liked that I would love to see adapted one way or another is Peter F. Hamilton's Night's Dawn trilogy, where a Satanist somehow Satanist gets interrupted by a alien life form, and somehow manages to open a rift between the realm of the undead and the living, and all hell breaks loose across the galaxy. That's a very quick interpretation of the story, but that's what happens at its core to make everything else happen. But it's hardcore sci-fi, zombie-ish stuff. Hell, Fletcher Christian comes back in it from, Days of the Bounty. You'd have to read the books. Each paperback is that thick. Actually, I think I have one down here I can show you. But if you want to get a start at it, I think the first book in the series is called The Reality Dysfunction. There's also an audiobook series, if you don't have the time to read it and you just want to listen to it. Start with Reality Dysfunction, then go to Neutronium Alchemist, and then The Naked God. Is a really tight fit. Or if you want a one-shot type story, there's a book called, same author, called Fallen Dragon. That one's got a nice twist in it. More straightforward, hardcore military sci-fi. With some elements of bioengineering and stuff in it, too. Okay. The G-sprue again. Actually, I am going to take a stand-up break. It's been an hour and 40 minutes, so I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Or are we front? I don't know. We're here. So, 30. Even on the old Tamiya and Italeri ones, you didn't realize just how many brackets and mounts and bumpers and fenders were on this thing. Each of these is a bump stop for the swing arms. You got your rubber bumpers here and here for the front and rear. Different brackets for the shock components. When you get someone who finally, treats the subject right, you begin to see just how much stuff is on one of these. $32.28. Okay. I really had a hard time getting running this morning. I'm still kind of just... kind of like, just clouds in the head kind of thing. Wow. There's even casting numbers and letters right here. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up at all. Come on. Come on. Play nice. Look at that. Right there. Alright, one more of those little bits. Then we can move on to the funnel drive housings. And then the taillight and pintle hook assemblies.
Leo2A7BK said it really is a well-detailed M60. Nice to see the little things that stand out.
Well, without having built Dragon's M48 M60 series that they've done, or AFV Club's new ones, based on just what I've built in the past, I'd have to say this is probably the best. On par with the Dragon M1A1 AIM kit and the SEP kit that they did back in the early 2000s. I haven't read any reviews on the Ryefield M1A1 to see how it stacks up. I'm sure everyone's probably giving it glowing reviews, but you know how it is. There's one set. Set. Because who made the newest M60A2s right now? Is it AFV Club and was it Dragon that did one? I know Academy did one too. But who did M60A2s in this newer batch of kits? Without me stopping everything and looking on Google. I know for sure Academy's done a new one, and I know AFV Club's done a new one. I could have sworn Dragon had done one. But they screwed the pooch, because they still had a lot of the old school type details we were talking about on this one that just don't go right. I even tried pricing out a couple Sheridan kits before I pulled the trigger on this one. Not the prices they're going for right now. 'Cause I want a modern one, I don't want a Vietnam era one. Why does it feel like I got hair on my face? The use brew again. Which one are you? There it is. Now, this has a lot of details, but it is not an overly complicated kit from what I can tell. And sorry I didn't do an open box review, I just wanted to get into building it. 33 times 2. There we are.
At Leo 2A7DK said, was the A2 the same 152 millimeters as the Sheridan, or did they figure out the fire optics system?
It was the same gun system, but the turret was radically different. They never quite got it to work, so they discontinued them. Some of them got made back into A1 or A3 tanks, depending on if it had the closed breech scavenge system installed or not. A lot of them got turned into bridge layers. And the way you can tell, and I can actually kind of give you an example on this model, if you go look at some old bridge layer M60s, this area right here sticks out a lot further, like it's wearing a diaper almost, because there was an actual like air pump system installed that would clear out the breach on the gun for the shillelagh. So if you ever see a bridge layer with a big old fat ass on it, you know there's a good chance that was most likely an M60A2 at one point. I know there's a couple A2s left out there too in museums, but not too many. But essentially the gun in the A2 is the same as in the Sheridan. Really
At
feels...
Leo 2A7DK said the Starship looked good though.
It did. Like I said, once this is done and we get past the AAV and Abrams thing, maybe I'll look into one of those. Not promising anything, but you never know. G2. G76. Allie's prowling around. Oh, these tiny, tiny lights. That's gonna be fun. So that's right side up. Come on. Nope. Nope. You out of there? putting F. F is on that side like I thought. Alright. I just want to see who makes the best overall kit before I go spending that kind of money on it. I've also been playing through the new campaign stuff on Stalker 2. They've improved quite a bit on the game. And done things that make it necessary for you to have night vision. Put that in there upside down. Like a dummy. Oval goes on top. There we go. $64, $75, $74. Looking right at it. Hey, how's that? I am glad to see model companies taking on the M60 as a subject in recent years, though. Because I know this kit's not exactly brand new. But it's better than yet another Abrams, or yet another T90, or another Challenger 2, which have been done to death very recently. Actually, did Takom do a 35th scale Chieftain Mark 11 or 12 with Stillbrew? I know they do it in 72nd scale, but do they do it in 35th scale? So you notice these two pieces here that I had to put on. They're part of the hydraulic feed and return system that's going to go down the hull that way. Once we get that far. It's going to be a bit still.
Berlin Brigade Chieftain with Silver and Hogs. Bit of a chariot there.
No, I'd have to do it in the black and green. Berlin Brigade's neat, but I don't feel like painting that, to be honest. And the guy that I told you about that I know that owns the T-55s from GoldenEye. He owns the Chieftain used in Reign of Fire. You know, the Matthew McConaughey movie with dragons. A-35. A-19. G26. I don't know why everybody craps on Reign of Fire. I actually like that movie. But I also like movies that allow you to unplug your brain and just have fun. You know, maybe I'll watch that tonight. I think I still have it. This goes like that. That goes like that. Okay. Yeah, apparently though, Edward isn't just releasing that Hind decal set. They're doing a profile pack kit with it in it. Still only in 48 scale, though.
At George Davis 7629 said, talking of films like that, I watched the Avatar Part 2 film yesterday.
Are you talking about the new one or the water one? Sorry, I'm concentrating on keeping everything kind of straight here, because then I have to take this and flip it around.
At George Davis 7629 said, yeah, the new one.
How was it? Story-wise, I wasn't really very impressed with either of them, to be honest. Technologically, they're cool films, but eh.
Said, still awesome in green and black. Brits used gasoline to cover the black, to get that blue hue over it, to mark a special unit. Don't know if it is true, but seen it several places.
I think that's just the way it faded.
At George Davis 7629 said it's about the same.
Yeah, I'll probably wait till it comes on one of the usual channels and see it there. So I'm having to go and build 3 more of these, or 5 more of these, Jesus. Because they've all got like a shock absorber on them first. So what's K? A36.
At George Davis 7629 said gasoline would just strip the paint off.
No, the tanks they painted that with, or not the tanks, the paint they put on those tanks was more of a cellulose base, so you'd need lacquer thinner to get it off. And even then, it might not. That shit was some really, like, you had to try to get that off. There wasn't, gasoline wasn't touching that. G20. No, wait, which one am I doing? Okay. A20 G27. Sorry guys, I'm getting all turned around here. Make sure this is the right one. G27. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna scribble through them as I do them so I don't bark it up. A36. Make sure I got that right one.
2A7BK said there's many parts just for the hull. Loving it already.
These two go together. So I need an A36. Which is on this one. Yep, when you got this many similar assemblies and you get distracted easily, yeah, we're scribbling through on the instructions now. Well, it's the only way you can, the way they're doing it is the only way you can effectively recreate how it looks, especially on a vehicle like this where all this shit's visible, you know? I may have to take another quick break and run upstairs here in a second. There we go, got those two on. And that was K. I is done. Alright, I'm gonna pause real quick, be right back. Gotta use a restroom real quick. much time's left on this one. Alright, it's near the end. I'm going to switch it up to a different one. Okay.
At the model student 20 said, got
No
all the
worries.
way
I had
unexpected visitors back as well.
unexpected bathroom rush, so we're all good. So I've already got the parts for M going. So let's finish up M.
At the model student 20 said tons of bits done while I was absent.
Not too many, but progress is progress. And watch the direction you put these on. You have to have these brackets facing toward the outside. Okay, that's seated. That doesn't feel right. That's not right.
At the model student 20 said that's a part.
That's not right.
At the model student 20 said I might put on backwards lol.
No, that's what I'm trying to avoid, and it feels like it's having me try and do that. So just give me 1 second, please. Yeah, this is another 836, so I'm going to save this for J, because that one goes here. I need 35. So that one's right, that's the one I just did. 36. Okay. So we're doing M. So that sets right. Okay. There we go, and then I need G20. But that's why I'm starting to scribble through the ones I've already completed, so I stop looking at the wrong fucking thing that I've done apparently 3 times already with the mix of parts I've got on the table here. This one is going to go over there. Okay. ain't touching that. Yeah, we're going to do J now because it requires this one, and I don't want to lose this one. G21 and A20. The fuck was that? And also make sure you're clipping the correct one off of the sprue for these, because they dictate the angle that the swing arm will sit at. That's what that key is for. I found this at the low end of market value on Amazon. Between what they were asking for this and what others were asking for the AFV Club one, this was the better deal to me, so that's why I went with it. But everything fits really tightly and really well. Everything's coming out pretty level and straight too. Okay. J is done. We're gonna do L next. So I need A10. Getting all the nubs off. G sprue. G12. So far, haven't come up against any, oh, this is the wrong number parts. G45. 67. And 14. Just dropped it. I felt it hit my toe. Where did it go?
Tato2A7BK said watched an English channel that finds and restores classic armor. They also get their hands deep in AM60. Crazy Brits, but fun as he.
It wasn't, what was that show back in the day? Yeah, there was a History Channel show that did that for a while, but honestly, they got really dumb with stuff. Like, they're trying to compare an M109 with tanks. And just, yeah. Like, it was like Armored Overhauling or something like that. It was... I really couldn't watch it. Or even a BMP against a Bradley. Tank Overhaul is what it was called. It only lasted one season as far as I'm aware. There's Mr. Hughes. He's getting into an M60 now. He's got it running. And I think he fixed the armor issue too, because the entire front plate right here had been removed. But he managed to get another plate, cut it, and weld it in place. But I still can't abide Hughes because he's the one that sold Whistling Diesel, the chieftain that he royally fucked up. But that's me, and if you watch it, cool. But yeah, don't sell your chieftain to a redneck with more money than brains.
The model student 20 said I watched the Australian Armor Museum quite a bit.
They're better. I watch them too. I find sometimes they spend a little too long on one thing in the episode, though. I appreciate what they do to put blown apart wrecks back together, though. And one day I hope they achieve getting their Tiger operational one way or another. This is what I didn't want. They made it so you can tab that in. It's a complete pain in the ass. I didn't want to do it off model.
The model student 20 said brutal stuff to work on.
If you have a shop that's equipped well enough, it can be very brutal, but at the same time, a lot easier than you would think. So which one was that again that I just did? L. Same thing for this side. Part of me wonders where I'd be right now had I gone tank crew in the Army instead of Air Force.
At the model student 20 said I've had to uninstall a 45 years old dual escalator in a high school during classes. It was not for the faint of heart.
Oh no. Working on escalators alone is enough to scare the crap out of you. Here, go inside this machine that could shred you in an instant.
The model student 20 said they're killers.
Oh, I know. I've seen videos of failures.
At the model student 20 said aluminum poisoning alone.
Oh, because of the dust from constant movement?
The model student 20 said deep cuts from treads.
Gotcha.
At the model student 20 said treads.
I knew what you meant.
This is my game. I set the rules, I call the play. You walked in blind. Did you think you'd get away? You read the signs but missed the trap. Now you're cornered, no turning back. You lost before you touched the floor. I watched you fall. You're keeping score. This is my world, my design. You lost it all before the starting line.
Okay, this time you go on here first.
Movie made, I knew your luck ran out. You never had a clue. I write the ending.
Come on.
I pull the wire. You played with fire. Now you're under mine. You lost before.
There we go.
At the model student 20 said seems fairly tranquil where you are.
What, in terms of the house, or like the area I live, or what? It's just a rainy, slow Sunday here. Wife and kid are upstairs, he's home on break from college.
Before the starting line.
quiet enough. Itch on my knuckle. I wish it was snowing, especially since I don't have to drive in it. And I kinda got a driveway. I got a driveway thawing system for free yesterday that normally costs about $500, and I want to try it out. Yeah, they're all upstairs doing their thing. I think my wife might be doing diamond art, or she's just vegging out to reels on her phone. The son's up on the third level playing his games. I'm down on the 4th level. The 4th level of hell! No,
At the model, student 20 said nice.
Sorry, fingers itching.
At the model, student 20 said I bet.
Okay. I really don't know how far I'm going to get before I stop. So I need 34 times 3 and 20 times 3.
At the model, student 20 said 4th level playing your games.
I might play a little bit of Stalker later.
The model, student 20 said it's not the Hummer fully built in like 2 hours.
No.
Grinning face with sweat emoji.
If somebody could manage that with this kit, yeah. I still have to finish that one. I'm just kind of burnt out on the kits.
At Leo2A7BK said hope he's doing well busy. No need to elaborate that, but you all have a nice Christmas.
Yeah, he's doing fine. All things considered. Just trying to make sure I keep my alignments the right way on this. And like I said, depending on how Christmas morning goes and how I feel that day, I may or may not stream. If I do, most likely we'll just build stylet. Unless I feel like doing that for giggles anyway off stream, then we'll see.
At Leo2A7BK said smiling face with hearts emoji, smiling face with hearts emoji.
Yeah, I was able to put more towards the truck this last week, and just crunch the numbers. I've been wanting to get another one of the grand scale kits for a bit, and I found one on eBay going for less than the rest. I got it. But I scrub eBay thoroughly. I try misspellings, everything. But I also make sure I keep all of my settings for North America, because other places will get you on the shipping if you're not careful. Trying to align these before I put glue on.
But the model student 20 said didn't get my pot 29 on dry weather was not conducive to driving, so getting it tomorrow.
Gotcha. Well, Trumpeter's about to do another 35th scale Russian helicopter that I might not be able to resist. So I may save road wheels and drive sprocket for later, just because I want to be able to paint them separately off the vehicle. They aren't essential to anything right now. And instead of having them rolling around free in the box, possibly getting lost, I can keep track of them easier. Just leaving them on the sprue. But look at that center dry sprocket support though. Got the mud relief holes, the right shape. Nice. But the figure up here is also spinning on my new turnstile. Much lower profile. I wouldn't have been able to fit her in there before.
At the model student 20 said nice molds on this kit. I gotta take a break though from Russian stuff for the next build after this Gaz and F1 Honda, I think.
You could always change it up. There you go. They're fun little kits.
At the model student 20 said the car will make 6 and
Good
a
God.
helicopters in new stash. Grinning face with
Do you have any of the Revell Germany Eurocopters? The 135 or the 145?
At the model student 20 said cool.
But like I've said before, I don't collect to collect. I collect to build. I still need to keep an eye out for Vincent and the other black hole kits. They're going to be getting released here shortly. I know at least Vincent is. Maximilian probably right behind. That's pretty good.
At Leo2A7BK said Yua, a NH90 in 1/35th scale. I probably would never get it built, but och. At the Model Student 20 said I started I have Trumpeter Dolphin 2 in the Hind the Academy A1 and MH60S, then the ICM Tarhi.
A29. That music's over. File. Let's get some different music up again. Well, same kind, but just a different. You need to work on that AH1Z. You could probably get it built in a day or two. It's that simple. A29.
At the Model Student 20 said I started the Tamiya Honda McLaren MP4 last night.
You're starting to get like me. But I'm not doing big dioramas, but for what I want to do with what I've got started, I've got to wait on a couple things for them. But for the trees I need, it's 30 bucks for 2. So I'm like, ugh. So I'm waiting to see what I get gift card wise. Then I want to get the static grass applicator. These are the hinges for the barn doors on the back. Which McLaren is it? Is it the black one? The 2015 one? Because I think I did the Ebro kit of that. Why does it feel like this camera is not very sharp today in terms of focus? There we go, I just reset the autofocus. Has it been like that all stream? Sorry, looking at Frank over there. He's being goofy as usual. How much you want to bet if I went searching for a photo etch set for this kit? It would include fenders. I am not about to do that. Yeah, next is road wheels and return rollers. Gonna wait on these. There's a lot of them I gotta paint on the sprue. Now we're into the upper hull. Now, according to the destructions, I have to fill in these 2 points. That'll be really quick. Hey, Major Havoc's back. To cause havoc. I don't know. Squeeze this out of the tube this time. We're just going to take a little bit, get it onto the knife blade, get it in place, get it smoothed, and then cure it. Should have kept that paper towel. We get another one. Go. Little bit of UV curing putty. Alright. Now I've got that. See if I can leave it like that or if I have to do any sanding. Throw some Mr. Surfacer thinned out on it. Let it dry and see what it looks like. I'd say that looks good enough. Actually, since I have the barrel assembled now, and it's been a minute.
At the model student 20 said letter set.
Oh, the putty's already set up. It's UV Cure. The trick is to flatten it out before you cure it. Felt like something was wiggling around inside my ear hole. If I did this right, though, I should just have to brush over some regular thickness Mr. Surfacer and give it a very minor sanding.
At the model student 20 said that stuff is much better than the old putties.
Have you used any at all? Solway Studios, thank you for the raid.
With 23 viewers, Pop Champ.
How you doing? What have you been working on?
Solway Studios TV just rated the channel with 23 viewers. At the model student 20 said just my UV resin and works good.
Okay, so the putty's a little bit thicker, so it's got a better body, where the resin can kind of run around on you. We're building the Takom M60A3 with M9 Bulldozer. And we're currently starting to work on the upper hull. We've got the lower hull finished.
At the model student 20 said I've ordered some putty, hasn't come yet.
But it's getting there. Very partsy model. And I just finished using some UV resin to fill in 2 holes that needed to be filled. Covered them with Mr. Surfacer. Or not UV resin, UV putty. So, this stuff. The name may vary, but it's more for body work. It comes with a little exposer. And my focus is not wanting to work right today.
BL4CK Lion said Froggy.
Hey Black Lion, how you doing?
At the model student 20 said looks like a bug.
Sandpaper. Just knock down the edge here a bit.
At the model student 20 said upside down.
Oh, like that? Yeah. Like one of those large isopods. Or a roly-poly. You flip it over and it doesn't roll up.
Solway Studios TV said hey hey. Streams went well.
Nice.
One more day on our 12th stream of Christmas. Still working on Hey Big Red Spaceship.
I got a couple projects in the flight line. Shows you where I worked for most of my adult life, in the pipeline.
At the model student 20 said exactly.
Yeah, it's been a day though. I'm feeling it. Last night did not help. That and I woke up at like 3 in the morning with a coughing fit, so it's like, But if you aren't following Solway Studios, jump over to his channels on both YouTube and Twitch and give him a follow, please. Sometimes he works on tanks, most times he works on Warhammer and other sci-fi things. But for this tank, we're going for a very mid to late 80s look with the camo. More mid, because I'm giving it the earlier camo. For a reforger exercise in Germany.
BL4CK Lion asks, do you normally do real stuff?
I do a mix of everything. Lately I'm just working on real-world military stuff. I might jump over to a Town R here soon. I just got to finish printing it. Oh, did I say that out loud? Somebody's finally made the different weapons packs for it, so...
At the model student 20 said sub soul wave thumbs up emoji.
There we go. The stuff I do, you can use on any kind of model, really, depending on how you adapt it. One build we've got coming up in February, though, is what I call the old school builder. What did you call it, model student? I can never remember it. The Back to Basics build, or Back to Basics old school, or something like that. But, we're not going to be using any methods newer than, say, 1999. And I'm going to be using books by Shepard Payne as a guideline. The stuff that I learned with. So, I want to hit up the barrel with this. Right through here. Just to help plunk out any mismatches that I may have missed. Using old two-part barrels, well, this isn't old, but old style, isn't that hard. You just really gotta double check your work and make sure you got your seams lined up. I can't wait to start putting things like the Hoffman device and some of the other Miles gear on it, though. I really got to research what they had on it for that, so I can
At the
put it
model
on there
student
properly.
20 said maybe go extreme. Caveman by candlelight models made with twigs and
Oh,
twine.
jeez.
Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
The anti-MIG. Okay. And a little bit along here where I noticed the darker spots in the seam. Wow, my autofocus is really not wanting to behave today. It is not concentrating on the focal depth here. I'm not zoomed in at all.
At the model student 20 said the basics are what are going to make every build better.
And that's what's, I think, is lacking today. Whether or not you agree is your own thing, but how many of these videos do we have out here where you see people throwing stuff together, you know, in terms of like using all these other, I'm really just going to start calling them the acronym products, because there's so many of them on the market now. But they'll throw it on there, but they won't describe what they're doing. So if you don't have any kind of foundational knowledge of model building or using materials like that, you don't know. Take the wet effects by a certain acronym company named after an assault rifle. They're an enamel. Basically, they're a gloss enamel varnish that you can remove and modify using white spirit after you apply it. Now, say a beginner bases his model in enamel paints and doesn't understand that. And the video he watched doesn't describe it. They just say, apply to your model and remove with white spirit. And he does that, and he goes to start cleaning it up, and then there goes his paint. See? And that's kind of what's left the model building community on a whole. At least that's what it feels like to me. Because even Night Shift is kind of bad about it. He doesn't describe what he's doing and how the layers need to be there. Like, if you're going to use any kind of enamel effects, be sure your base is acrylic or thoroughly sealed with an acrylic. But even thoroughly sealing it with an acrylic, sometimes bad things happen, and the thinner you're using on the enamel effects can still leak through. So the knowledge isn't being passed down well enough. It's more, ooh, look, I've got this fluid, here's how it works. I'm not going to tell you what I did underneath it though. So when you wind up stripping half your model because you slapped a square brush full of thinner on it, well, that's your own fault. So that's what we try and not do here.
At the model student 20 said that's the stage that F me a few times.
And that's why a lot of stuff I do now is strictly acrylics. Even in the old school builds, I'm going to use mostly acrylic-based products and the paints. If I can't find the original stuff, I'm going to use an analog for it. Like Shep Payne used to use a powdered celluclay. You can still get it, but I don't think you can always get it everywhere. But for what he's doing with it, there's a couple different things you can use, and I'll try and get a modern equivalent to it. But that's not till February. Okay. Ow. I need to adjust here. Okay, so I need the A sprues. The W sprues. There it is. And I know people have their own techniques and ways of handling stuff like that, but we're talking base ground rules here. We're not talking experienced, you kind of know what you're doing with what you got kind of stuff. Could they have made that any more partsy just to make the stock for the light? Good lord. W58. Oh, that's so tiny. I need to make 2 of these. 61 right here. But it feels like lately every time I turn around I'm seeing another video touting these products, but all it is a video showing its use with absolutely no description. And 57. I'm sorry if you can't see the pieces, they're all right here. I feel like I almost bit off more than I can chew with this one.
VL4CK Lion said Froggy 102 Zoom.
You okay there, Black Lion? Hope I didn't say something wrong.
VL4CK Lion said
Oh.
no. That's me zooming in to see the pieces.
Yeah, good luck. They're that small, and I honestly forgot to keep track of which ones were which. They're pretty straightforward, though.
VL4CK Lion asks when are they part of?
So these are the headlight height extenders on the front of the M60, and I'll give you an example here in just a second. Because this has a bulldozer plow mounted on the front of it. Okay, I'm trying to not think of sneezing while I do
The
this.
model student 20 said Magno Vision. Lol.
Yeah, almost. You're not wrong there. So what these do is they raise the headlights up above the blade in the raised position. And they go right here and right here. Without the blade, the headlight would just fit right in there. But yeah, I picked the harder kit. My RC IDF M60 has the same extenders on its headlights. And I did find files for the M9 Dozer that I could upscale for that. It wouldn't be functional. But it would at least look right. And this kit is by Takom, if anyone's interested in looking into it.
Just followed.
Marco, thank you for the follow. And welcome to the channel. This is testing even my eyes out, and they're getting worse. Note to self, don't attempt another Takom M60 unless I really feel like punishing myself. And honestly, it's okay if you don't have these perfectly straight. I've seen them bent at like 45-degree angles before. And that UV resin looks really good there. No shrinkage, so it doesn't have a recessed thing in it. W31 times 2. There they are.
At the model student 20 said, prepare my octo goggles. Grinning face with sweat emoji.
No, once the wife gets her new insurance through the merger going on at her work, we're going to look into getting my eyes checked out, see what we can do. Because it used to be I didn't need glasses, and then over the past, I want to say 4 years, it's just gotten progressively worse that if I take them off, I can't read. It's that blurry. Like, I can see fine at distance, but close up, forget it. I'm gonna leave the headlight lenses out for now. Yeah, we're going to see about either a decent prescription or, if possible, surgical if necessary kind of thing. And these even have an extended headlight guard that goes over them. Yeah.
Said I feel like eyes.
And I know my eyes have been through some stuff. Like, got back when I smoked, I got cigarette ash in my left eye, and then got super glue in my right eye, and then G-sprue. Where's the G-sprue? Got essentially welding blindness from high intensity UV lights that make minerals glow. Worked around that without the protective glass in place, without knowing it. So yeah, my eyes have been through some stuff. Everybody else in my family has glasses, but they've had it since they were like younger. It finally took 45 years to hit me. It just feels like the onset was very rapid, when it's probably been happening for a while. I just never really paid attention until recently. Fire extinguisher handle.
Student 20 said, I took a piece of hot slag I chipped off my weld in the eye once. It was brutal.
Oof. Yeah, I've not had that. The super glue was bad enough. And the UV exposure basically being like welding burn. Okay, G6. Two A15s.
At the model student 20 said, might be fine if recent.
So is mine. That's what's really concerning. And I think the first instance when I really figured something was up is,
At the model student 20 said, arc flash is like eyes of sand.
Yep, that's exactly what it felt like. It wasn't until later in the day that it hit, but it felt like somebody threw sand in my eyes and then got worse and worse. And I just had to lay there with my eyes shut. Nothing much I could do. Just eye drops and lay there with them shut. Took a day or two, but they finally healed up.
KA7BK said, same thing here. TV no problem. Text, is there 2 or 3 numbers 1? Need screen glasses for that.
Exactly, Alex. That's exactly what it is. Like, where I'm sitting now, I can play a game on my TV just fine. Even my monitor, like if I take these off, I can't read the text. Like everything's blurry. But if I put these on, it's as clear as normal distance. So something's going on with my near focus. A15. There you are. I mean, I've compensated, but I'd like for a good professional pair of glasses that, you know, after an evaluation that might be able to find out what the issue is and get me something corrective so I'm not having to do this all the time and, you know, in life. Just something I can leave on. It doesn't affect my far seeing, but it fixes my near seeing without being reading glasses. You know what I mean.
At the model student 20 said, I picked up my friend's glasses one day and realized that wasn't Google, making my vision blurry up close, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Yeah, if you don't need glasses and you know somebody who has them, try their glasses, and whatever the prescription is will actually make your eyes see what they see without glasses. Because that's the kind of correction it requires. And you'd be surprised. But I really noticed it setting in about 2018, 19, 2020, when I needed the magnifying glasses, the ones with the light on them, just to see better. And I know it's a focus issue because I'm also... my depth perception when working on models is worse. Like right here, blurry again, even with the glasses. Right here, sharp and clear. But that's enough about my old man problems. Some of you new guys tell me about yourselves. A25 times 3, A17 times 2.
At the model student 20 said I'm a one reading glasses up close building.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the one part on a sprue that's half empty. There it is. Right now, I'm at 2. It was 1. That's why I know it's getting progressively worse.
VL4CK Lion said I just got back into models like last month. Foggy 102 Blanky.
Oh, nice. What do you like building? This kind of stuff? Warhammer, sci-fi?
20 said otherwise I'm great. Aches and pains notwithstanding.
Yeah, I'm about the same. I'm okay. Aches and pains notwithstanding.
VL4CK Lion said Warhammer 40K.
A lot of the stuff that I do you can use on Warhammer. You just have to adapt it to your style. Do you want to go with like Solway style, or do you want to do it studio style like Games Workshop does with their different groups?
And Leo2A7DK said as long as there is life in little Mr. Jensen, I will figure it out.
Now.
VL4CK Lion said at the moment I'm just trying to get some decent brush control and technique.
Yep, start with the basics. I know it seems odd, but I can recommend a book that you can keep handy that just helps with that kind of stuff. Because I know one problem about asking online, especially these days, is you ask one question, you get 20 answers. 3 of them might be close, the other 17 don't even come close to answering. If you're looking for painting stuff, especially for figures, the techniques in this book can also apply to Warhammer. And it goes through showing all the different things, faces, different tools you might want, step by step on faces.
At the model student 20 asks curious, what faction are you painting?
But that book gives you all the different, like, something you can refer to give you the same answer every time when you've got a question.
VL4CK Lion said Idering.
Ah, the Eldar.
VL4CK Lion said and thanks for recommendation.
No worries. I'm trying to get back to that myself because I feel like I've kind of lost something. And I'm going back to what my foundational experience was. Other people have different things they've used, which is all fine and dandy, you know. I know where I learned from, so I'm kind of trying to go back to that a little bit. Because lately it feels like I'm not getting something right. Not that I'm doing anything wrong, but there's like a step that I'm missing in certain things. And I just want to get back to the basics a little bit more.
At Leo2A7BK said not to copy Blade Runner, but skin jobs always make me question myself.
You meant painting skin, I hope? Which side will be down? That side. Maybe I'll watch that tonight instead. It's been a while since I've watched Blade Runner.
Student 20 said Kenny at Next Level Painting is fun to watch painting Warhammer. He's entertaining to say the least.
And if you want to paint strictly Warhammer, you know, that's fine. But there's different techniques you can use for different things. Solway's probably the only other model building streamer I watch for the most part, because he's down to earth, you know. I feel like he's legit. Call me weird, but you know, that's just how I see it. That's if I'm ever able to catch him while he's on. Usually he's on when I am, or I'm at work when he's on.
Model Student 20 said he offers a course. I want to try that cartoon animated paint job on something.
Oh, the cell shading? I'm about to do that actually on a Macross model. It won't be for a few months still, but it's near on the pipeline if you want to wait.
EL4CK Lion said I'm actually just watching you scrape off the excess blue plastic right now. I didn't do it on my first box, and it's really bugging me now. I've painted them.
That's again foundations. It's stuff that you don't see a lot of people cover. That is a foundational part of model building. You take the part off the sprue, you clear up the nub. You know, some people say, "Oh, cut right next to the part." I usually cut away, and then use the X-Acto blade to trim it up. Because if you cut right next to it, sometimes, depending on how it's molded, the plastic can pull and leave a divot, and I would rather shave down a bump than try and fill a divot. Okay, so we are actually done with all the little bits on this page.
At Leo2A7BK said thanks model student. Picked up my fell blade yesterday. Dark Angels Maniac. Maybe he has some nice tricks.
G-sprue again. G9, which is the fuel cap. The only fuel cap on an M60. If there's one here, it's wrong. But the fun part's going to be when I get into the painting and weathering on this. I know people like Alex, especially, who were the ones who allowed me to acquire this kit, would probably like to see the whole assembly process. So I'm going to build as much of it on stream as I can. We're actually nearing the end of stream today because it's been almost 4 hours now, and we're nowhere near done with the lower hull alone. So we'll be working on this again tomorrow when I get back on. I might switch over to something else off stream just to keep myself busy. G18, G70. There it is. I'm just trying to get to a good stopping point, and I think once we get all the details on the lower hull, before we move on to the fenders, then I think we'll be in the right spot. The only thing I'm not doing is the road wheels, because like I said, some of them are multi-part, some are not. I'd like to paint them while they're on the sprue for a second.
The model student 20 said, been on a while today, good stream.
And compared to how far I normally get on your average tank model, it really feels like I'm lacking today. This one's got, we're talking early 2000s Dragon level parts in terms of parts count. But for this, it's completely necessary. Amazingly designed model.
At Leo 2A7BK said, are we getting some MERDC and whitewash?
We're getting that camo, but not the whitewash. I think that was a unit level. Yep, I'm a slacker today. Most of the ones I've seen weren't wearing whitewash. I've seen one or two, like the box art, but I want to do it just straight camo and dirt. And I want to try doing hoarfrost on the grass. So it's like there's a frost on the ground, maybe a bit of wetness on the fenders and on the top and running down, but nothing too dramatic, you know? I'm gonna look into how to do stuff like that a bit better, because it's something I've not tried yet. I have ideas, I've seen some techniques, but I want to look around a bit more first before I really lock myself in on one. G60, G11. And even if you cut the parts off the sprue like this, because that just felt too fragile for me to use the nippers on, still go back and police up your nubs, because there will be one. And that alone will solve 98% of your fit problems. That goes like that. G11. This with blue here, and it should. Am I really gonna have to drill a hole because they didn't make one? Wow, that's. Nope, we're gonna do it the easy way. So if you wanted to model this open, it's got the locating tab for latching it down. We're cutting it off, because I am not about to try drilling a hole right there. Man, autofocus fails me again. I also want to research more of the 85, 86 era miles gear and see if there's anything else I have to add to the outside of the tank, since I am putting the Hoffman device on it. was that?
DL4C
Oh, Black Lion, thank you for the follow. I could have sworn I just saw a flash. But if I'm able to stream Christmas Day for those who just came in, I've got an easy model to work on that day, because I know I'm going to be pretty tired. Like I said, if we got the grand scale stylet from Frame Arms Girls. Okay, 2 more parts. G65.
DL4CK Lion asks, what is Santa bringing you?
I have no clue. The wife knows that. 65 goes on this side, and 71 goes over here. Kind of spoiled myself already. Where did that go? Okay, let's get this one glued on, and then I'll look for the other one. Well, hopefully now that my son's an adult, I can sleep in that morning and have a good breakfast. That's what I want Santa to bring. But we'll see. Because we're all still kids at heart. I know Aries Studio got me something, but he's not here at the moment. Because I think he is hands and knees deep in a flooring job. In his house. So where's my light? I don't know if that went onto the floor or on my chair.
The model student 20 said dog walk if you're off. When I get back I'll CYA tomorrow. Thumbs up emoji. I should post something tonight.
Back. I can't even turn on my flashlight. I'll probably be gone by the time you get back. Once I get this part glued on, I'm going to set it up and let it dry for the day. Okay. Have to get down carefully in case it is in my lap. It doesn't go flying somewhere else. Really? Come on. Watch, it's hooked to my clothes or something. Not in the chair. I really don't want to have to do the vacuum trick.
At the model student 20 said cool it's 6:45 here, dark and snowy. We're off OG, I hope you find it. BL4CK Lion said I am gonna head off too. Got breakfast with Santa in the morning with the daughter. Was fun watching and Froggy 102 ways.
Whoever just tipped, thank you very much for that.
Anonymous just
Anonymous
$30
tipped $30. I am on my knees over the complexity
Thank you very much, Alex. So yeah, I am going to stop stream here. Like I said, I want to let this dry because that's a lot of little stuff that just needs to set up. And I want to see if I can find that piece that went AWOL. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully earlier than I was today. I started a little late today. I don't plan on staying up till 1 in the morning tonight, so...
At the model student 20 said Santa.
Yeah, Santa. That's not till... Yeah, that's 3 more days. 4 more days.
0287 BK said ha ha.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll get the fenders built, the hydraulics, and hopefully the plow blade, and then move on to the turret from there. The plow blade is the next big complex assembly. And yeah, so thank you for all the new follows. Thank you for the bits earlier from F1, and thank you for the donation from Alex and the raid from Solway Studios. So I hope everybody has a good day.